In this screencast, I'm going to show you how to edit your website. So in front of us here, we've got the seller control panel. And before we start editing the website, I just want to go to the item manager, that's at manage items, and just show that I've already loaded 4 items onto the system. These are kind of action cameras. And of course, item management isn't done in the edit website screen. You manage the items in the item manager, which is here. And that's because you might be selling those items on your website, but also you might be selling them on Facebook, you might be selling them on eBay, or any of the other marketplaces that we support. So it's got a completely different section for editing your items and adding in new items and that kind of thing. So there's just one thing that I want to do before we go any further though, is click on categories. And by default, you have a super category called all and a category called items for sale. I'm just going to change the super category to cameras. And I'm going to change the items for sale category to action cameras. Great. And I just want to show you as well that when I created these items, I added them to a default collection called homepage. You'll see why I did that in just a moment. So now to edit your website, you go to website, edit your website. And you'll see here there's actually 2 different themes that have been selected. There's a primary theme and a reserve theme. In fact, these are the kind of default themes that you get when you first sign up to Seller. The one on the left we call the quick start theme. And the idea of a reserve theme is that if in the future you want to change the look of your website, you can kind of set up a reserve one in the background. And when you're happy that it's what you want it to look like, then you just simply swap that over to the primary theme. So it makes it really easy to change the look and feel of your website in the future. But for now, let's click on Edit Primary Website. And this is where you edit your website. And you'll see there's loads of kind of orange icons all over the place. These are kind of crucial to how you actually change things on your website. And I'm just going to talk you through exactly what each one of these does. Let's start at the top. So the L is for a logo. At the moment, it's just showing the text for the camera store, but I want to upload a logo. So you just click on that, select your logo, click on upload, and there's your logo. The next button down is what we call a button group. And so if I click on that, it looks a bit like a family tree. This allows you to add items to this section here to allow your customers to navigate through your site. You'll see that it says cameras, action cameras. That's what I just changed the categories to. So by default, it's got the home link and also a link to your categories, which is where they'll find your items for sale. But I want to add some more. For example, let's add a privacy policy. To do that, you simply enter the name. I'll leave that as new page because it's a new page we want to create. Note that as well as creating a new page, you can also link buttons here to a super category, a category, super collection, or directly to an item. You just enter the item code there. You can create another home page button. You can have a feature page. There's various different feature pages, and I'll cover that in a moment. You can create other pages, just random kind of other pages on your website, or you can link to an external URL. So for example, if you've got, I don't know, a blog or something on that you've already got set up on a different domain name, then you can link to that there. And also you can specify whether it should kind of open in a separate window as well. But I'm just going to click on Add New. And when I click on Close, the page will refresh and you can see it says Privacy Policy there. So let's click on that. Now the great thing about Seller is with all this text, you just simply type over it. So I want this to be Privacy Policy. And when you start typing, you'll see a Save Changes button appears at the bottom. So don't forget to click on Save Changes. I'll do that now. So I'm just going to paste in a privacy policy that I got from a website called jamieking.co.uk a few moments ago. So take a look at that. And I haven't filled out all the information on there. It's just a default kind of template, but you kind of get the idea. So I just pasted that in using Control and V. So now I'll click on Save Changes. And when you paste in, you might need to click in the box to make the Save Changes button appear at the bottom. So there we go. So we've got our privacy policy. Let's also add a Contact Us form. So I click on the button group icon, type Contact Us as the name. Select the feature page Contact Us, click on Add New, and close. So now if I click on Contact Us there, you'll see a form appears allowing the customer to contact us really easily. Now you'll notice it just has test information in the name and address. It gets that information from profile view or edit profile. So make sure your information there is complete and up to date. So now let's go back to the home page. So the next icons here are image icons. So this is if you want to upload an image to your page. In this instance here, there's two sections where we can add an image. You don't need to do them in both. It's just saying that's where you can put them. So if I want to upload an image to this smaller section here, I simply click on it, select the image, and click on upload. It's actually a much bigger image, but it will resize that so it fits in. And it will also reduce the file size as well, making it quicker to load. And then for text, you simply, again, type over the text you want. So here, let's put "Welcome to the camera store. We specialize in the latest cameras and action cameras." I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Great, and click on Save Changes to save those changes. Right. So there we go. Actually, do you know, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have the bigger image. So let's just see how we would go about changing that. I'm going to get rid of the one from there. I'm going to select that image there. Use the same image because it'll automatically fit it to that space. There we go, that looks better. But as you can see, there's a problem. The text has now become almost invisible because of the color against the background. And in fact, you might not even know it was there. There's a button up here on the top left, this button here, toggle borders. If you click on that, it'll highlight the areas where there's text so you can easily see. So all I need to do is change the color. Just change that to white. That one as well. Then click on Save Changes. Great. So don't worry about the placeholder image there as well. That won't appear when you view the live version of this website. It's just there in edit mode to show you where you can put images and the size that they're likely to be. Let's untoggle those borders. So you can see there's the items that I've already loaded on there. And there's a folder icon just at the top left. If you click on that, then it will show you what group of items is going to be appearing in this space. In this case, it's the homepage collection. I could just as easily select our action cameras category. But the great thing about using a collection is that you can have items from all over your website appear in the homepage. So we'll leave that as it is. Now if I scroll down, there's a couple of links here for plugins. If I click on that, you'll see there's various different plugins that you can select. These are kind of social media and similar things, Google Calendars, social media links, embedded, Facebook and Twitter. You just add those if you want to use that functionality. And each one's different, so it will give you different instructions of the details you need to enter. And then finally at the bottom there's another button group. What this actually is for is where, you know, at the bottom of these kind of websites you get loads of links in different columns. It just lets you add loads of links so they appear in various different columns linking to wherever you want them to go. That's very common on this type of website and this allows you to do it. But I'm not going to do it in this demo. So if we just scroll up to the top, as you will have seen, there's various different buttons in the top left hand corner of the screen. And I'll just go through each of those. The top one is the theme properties. This lets you, in this case, change things like color. And also, in this instance, you can change whether the cart appears as well. So although Seller is used primarily for e-commerce websites, if you wanted to set up a website where you're not actually selling anything, you can hide the cart. So if I click on that, Save Changes, you'll see all the cart information there is now no longer shown. And as well, you can change the color. So let's say I wanted to change the color of the site. You just change it there, click on Save Changes, and it's updated. If you make any mistakes or just want to put it all back to the default values, you click on Reset Values there. The next icon down is for meta tags. Seller works with SEO, search engine optimization, in mind all the way through. So it optimizes all of your pages for search engines. And so the meta tags are automatically generated anyway. You can change what the system has created for you, or you can add your own meta tags if you need to. The one most notable reason you might want to do that is if you're using Google Analytics, then you'll need to add a meta tag that they provide so that you can identify to Google that you own the domain that they're tracking. And you do that, they have a thing called their alternative identification method, and you'll see the information on the Google Analytics site regarding using the meta tag, but you would just enter that in there. On some pages there's hyperlinks. There's not actually on this page, but if you click on that hyperlink button there, it would highlight all of the hyperlinks on the page. Sometimes you get images with links built into them and that kind of thing, and it lets you do that. The next button down is for other pages. So if you just want to create and other page. For whatever reason, you just click on that and then you type in the name of the page. So in this instance, let's put landing page, which is a typical reason why you might want to do that. Click on add new, and then you just click on the name of the page to edit it. So if I click on that, in the same way, you can just overtype everything, paste things in, and have a page with whatever you want on it. And then the other interesting thing about that is if you click on the edit icon, then it will give you the URL of that page. That would be our domain name / landing page -p6.htm. So let's just close that. I'll go back to the home page. Now the next button down just highlights, I think I mentioned earlier on, the text fields on the page. That makes them easy to see. And finally, the button at the bottom toggles all these orange buttons. So if you want to see it slightly more like what it's going to look like, again, ignore the placeholder image there. You can just toggle the buttons on and off. And also, in places where it says click to edit this text, obviously that's not going to appear when you look at it, when you look at the actual published version of the website. That's just there for edit mode. Now there's a drop down at the top which lets you choose which page you're editing. Now in edit mode, you can simply navigate through each page and edit it like that. But for example, if we're looking at this product here, and we change a text or image on the page, there's a text field down here. If I was to change that text there, it would only be changing it on this item page. But if you wanted to change some text that relates to all of the item pages, you would choose master item view at the top, and then you would change the text there. So any master pages that you change will be reflected on every page that uses that master template in your site. So that's basically it, but there's one more button that I need to show you that's really important, probably the most important button out of all of this. If I just go back to the control panel, you can click on preview website. There's a button always at the top. And when you click on that, it's going to show you exactly what your site's going to look like. So look, in just a few minutes, we set up a great looking website and people can buy from you right away with this. If I go to cameras, action cameras, let's go into a camera, add to cart, it's all there. They could buy that right now. So as you can see, it's really easy to edit your website. It gives you the opportunity to change whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you are.